Walang headlines, special coverage, intro kagad. Okay.
Bumper 2 card, tapos take for stone 3.
Okay. Thank you.
Gaya ng apple ba?
Ka-heels pa. Si Sean naka-chinelas lang.
4 inches ba yan?
Do you naman?
Stone 3?
Like 2.5, mga ganun. Ano lang to, very pang-office.
Okay lang.
Parang pang-opisina lang itong mga ganun. Kaya ba't naduduling kasi kung nakagilid kasi protect naman na TV kasi. Masikip na ba?
Ilan pa?
Masikip. The nation continues to mourn the death of former President Benigno Simeon Noynoy Aquino III. I'm Rita Diaz, and this is the special coverage of One News Now. Join us today as we follow the funeral mass for the former president, followed by his burial procession to the Manila Memorial Park, where he will be laid to final rest beside his parents, former President Cory Aquino and former Senator Ninoy Aquino. Filipinos can still catch a last glimpse of former President Benigno Aquino III in a mass today at the Church of Gesu at the Ateneo de Manila University. The 10 in the morning funeral mass will be presided by Archbishop Socrates Villegas along with other priests. After this, the urn of PNoy will be brought to the Manila Memorial Park in Sucat, Parañaque for burial. His cremated remains will be laid to rest next to his parents. Now, on the way to Manila Memorial Park, the funeral convoy will traverse C5 to SLEX. Now, those who will pay their final respects along the route of the convoy are asked to observe health protocols. The protocols for former President Noynoy Aquino's burial will be quite different from usual due to the ongoing pandemic. These protocols will be executed not only to ensure safety, but also to properly pay tribute to the former head of state. Mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro will give us a front seat to the story.
On the day of a former leader's death, the incumbent president shall declare a national mourning period for 10 days. President Duterte declared the mourning period from June 24 to July 3. During this period, all displayed flags in the country shall be raised half-mast. The Heroes Hall in Malacanang Palace or the Libingan ng mga Bayani may serve as the venue where the former head of state's remains may lie. The Aquino family decided to bury the remains of Noynoy Aquino beside their parents in the Manila Memorial Park on June 26. As a former Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, military honors are accorded. On the days leading to the interment, 8 cannons are fired in succession every hour. These 8 cannons represent the 8 provinces in the Philippine flag, which participated in the revolution against the Spanish colonization. The remains can be carried in a horse-drawn carriage like Diosdado Macapagal Arroyo, or a hearse or a truck like Corazon Aquino. On the day of interment, on the moments leading to the lowering of the casket, 21 gun salutes will be done in succession with a 1-minute interval. The same gun salute will be done in other military camps in the country with available cannons. The flag may be draped over the casket, and after the burial, the flag will be folded to an equilateral triangle and be given to the most senior member of the family. But because of the pandemic, the AFP is still working out on the logistics of the burial procession of Benigno Aquino III to observe health protocols. I'm Jacob Lazaro, and we are One News.
PNoy had one last hurrah as he celebrated his birthday for the last time with his friends at a firing range before renal failure secondary to diabetes took his life. Lino Livario with a story.
Happy birthday This video was taken last February when the former president turned 61 years old. His friends threw him a simple celebration at a firing range. Former BIR Commissioner Kim Henares, a gun enthusiast, was one of those who came.
We were aware that he was not well. In fact, before COVID, he was already rushed to the ER, stayed at the ICU. So we knew he was ill.
Former political advisor Ronald Llamas says PNoy had lost weight. He was down to about 100 pounds and was undergoing dialysis 3 times a week. His family announced his cause of death was renal failure, secondary to diabetes. The Urology Care Foundation of America lists the following causes of renal failures: hypertension, glomerulonephritis or the weakening of filters in the kidney, and diabetes. Renal failure can be avoided if one avoids smoking and food that is high in sugar and cholesterol. But the former president was known for his love for smoking, coke, and chicharon.
Mahilig po siya sa chicharon. Pero pinakamaganda po niyan, pagka nagka-cabinet meeting kami at meron siyang chicharon, pinapasa po niya yung chicharon sa table. Hindi po niya
hindi pinagdaramot.
tinatago sa tabi niya.
Yama says PNoy was waiting for a possible kidney transplant. Another friend, Ricky Avancena, posted that last week, the former president missed his dialysis. On Thursday, his staff at Time Street found him passed out on his chair just before they rushed him to the Capital Medical Center. He passed away peacefully. For News 5, Lynn Olivario, we are One News.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. The country has officially opened its first ever mega field hospital at the Rizal Park in Manila after a 52-day construction. This is expected to free up several Metro Manila hospitals housing COVID patients. Mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro gives us a front seat to the story.
It's one of the biggest mega field hospital in the country and the biggest in Metro Manila. And on Friday, it opened its doors to COVID-19 patients. Completed in just 52 days, the mega field hospital is a semi-permanent medical structure built on Rizal Park in Manila.
As we now inaugurate one of the biggest field hospitals in the country.
The Mega Field Hospital is meant to unclog Metro Manila's hospital of COVID patients, able to house 344 mild to moderate COVID-19 patients. The field hospital frees up other Metro Manila hospitals to serve the other health needs of Filipinos. Manila's 6 district hospitals, for example, experienced beyond 100% occupancy during the recent COVID-19 surge.
Luluwag, gagaang ang trabaho ng mga doktor at magpapunction na rin fully yung ating mga ospital for its regular purpose.
And the beds, there's really no private room here because the beds are all set in a ward style. But the whole hospital is air conditioned, and right now it's pretty cold here, pretty comfortable, especially during the summer heat. And there are also TVs. As you can see over there, TV set up all throughout the ward for entertainment.
More than 200 healthcare workers were assigned here. There are shower rooms and dormitories for the healthcare workers. Services are free. Construction started in April with a 154 million pesos budget, and the project finished 8 days early from its 60 days deadline. Aside from freeing up bed space in Metro Manila's hospital, the project also shows that authorities can put up a major field hospital in just a month and a half's time in the event of an emergency or another surge.
But again, I would like to thank 362 construction workers, Filipino construction workers who did this day and night.
I'm Jacob Lazaro and we are One News.
Meanwhile, the mega-vaccination site at the Nayong Pilipino complex appears far from being ready. The vaccine supply allotted for the facility has not yet arrived and construction is still ongoing. Mobile journalist Pamela Vasquez gives us a front seat to the story.
After many delays, the much-anticipated arrival of the first batch of Moderna vaccines is all set for Sunday, June 27. Vaccine czar Carlito Galvez Jr. says this first batch will be split between the private sector and the government.
Meron tayong hatian dyan kasi meron tayong 7 million na pinilitan ng private sector and 13 million sa atin. So sa ngayon, ang pagkakalan natin is merong 55,000 ang private sector at 149 sa atin sa government.
The Moderna vaccines were supposed to be rolled out at the Nayong Pilipino mega-vaccination hub being built by Tycoon Enrique Razon. But we visited the site earlier today and the facility seems far from done. A handful of tents have been set up, but they didn't seem like they were the actual vaccination tents, as they had no walls or side partitions. Some construction materials were just laying on the ground. There was no signage anywhere. Construction workers were busy drilling and hauling, but I wasn't allowed to talk to them. It also wasn't clear where the cold storage facilities will be placed, given that Moderna requires special handling. But Secretary Galvez insists the hub is more or less ready.
So ready kasi nagkaroon na tayo dyan ng before ng dry run. And we will discuss this first later pagka mag-usap kami ni Secretary. Kasi they are recommending na immediately after its delivery, considering na meron silang private third-party provider, they can start already.
When we asked ICTSI Foundation about their plans to roll out Moderna, they told us to check with IATF instead. It can be recalled that when Razon first proposed this facility, it caused a huge controversy, which eventually led to the Nayong Pilipino director resigning. The project was supposed to have been completed May 16, but the designs had to be revised at least 10 times in light of environmental concerns. The original design even boasted of amenities like an alfresco dining area and drive-through vaccination area. But with the first batch of Moderna arriving soon, the question at this point is, can they finish everything in a matter of days? I'm Pamela Vasquez and we are One News.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later again at 9:30 in the morning for the continuing special coverage of the final mass and burial for former President Noynoy Aquino. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.